What happens 5 minutes after you die? According to Catholic teaching, 5 minutes after you die, where will you be? Your heart stops. Your body lies still. Family and doctors may gather around your bedside, but that's not the end, because your soul, the real you, has just stepped into eternity. And according to Catholic teaching, those first moments after death are the most important moments you will ever face. Tonight, we're going to walk through, step by step, what the Church says happens to every soul, moments after death. And when you hear it, you'll realize why the Church urges us to live ready every single day. The soul separates from the body. The very first thing that happens is separation. Your body begins to shut down, but the Church teaches that your soul, the spiritual core of your being, does not die. The Catechism of the Catholic Church, paragraph 366, says, "The spiritual soul does not perish when it separates from the body." Doctors may declare death, machines may stop, but for the soul, this is not the end, it's the beginning. In that instant, you discover something we all know deep down. You were never just flesh and blood. You are an eternal soul. The saints describe this separation like walking through a door. You leave behind the physical world and step into the reality of eternity. The soul becomes conscious of eternity. The second thing that happens is almost shocking. The soul instantly realizes time is over. There are no more minutes, no more days, no more second chances. The earthly clock has stopped. St. Augustine wrote that eternity is not endless time, it is timelessness. Imagine standing in the presence of pure being, where past, present, and future all appear as one. In that moment, you see your life as God sees it. Every choice, every word, every hidden thought comes into perfect clarity. And with that clarity comes an overwhelming awareness. My eternity has begun. The particular judgment. And then comes what the Church calls the particular judgment. Hebrews 9:27 tells us, "It is appointed for man to die once, and after that comes judgment." This is not a courtroom trial. There are no lawyers, no debates. Instead, you stand before Christ himself, face to face. The light of Christ's gaze penetrates the soul. Everything you've ever done is revealed. Not just your actions, but your intentions, your motives, the truth of your heart. The saints say this is not so much God accusing us, it is us seeing ourselves in his light and recognizing the truth with absolute clarity. Think about it. Every lie, every act of selfishness, every refusal to love, it cannot be hidden. But also, every prayer whispered in secret, every act of kindness no one noticed, every moment of repentance, all of that too is brought into the light. This moment is both terrifying and beautiful. For the soul that loved God, this is joy. For the soul that rejected him, this is dread, the presence of angels and demons. Catholic tradition also teaches that in this moment, the spiritual battle for your soul becomes visible. Angels stand beside you, defending every act of faith, every prayer, every small moment you chose God's mercy. The demons accuse, reminding you of every sin, every fall, every time you refused grace. But for those who loved Mary, the Mother of God, there is hope. Many saints have testified that she intercedes for her children at the hour of death, pleading before her Son. In this moment, the soul realizes heaven and hell are not abstract ideas. They are real, and their messengers are present. The eternal destination is decided. Finally, the soul's eternal destiny is revealed. Heaven. For those who die in God's grace and friendship, heaven awaits. Some may enter directly. Others will pass through purgatory, a place of purification, where the soul is cleansed of every last stain of sin before entering the glory of God. Purgatory, the Catechism teaches, CCC 1030 to 1031. All who die in God's grace and friendship, but still imperfectly purified, undergo purification so as to achieve the holiness necessary to enter heaven. Purgatory is temporary, but necessary for many. Hell, for those who die in mortal sin, deliberately rejecting God's mercy, the judgment is separation from Him forever. CCC 1033 says, "To die in mortal sin without repenting and accepting God's merciful love means remaining separated from Him forever by our own free choice. In that moment, the soul knows, my eternity is sealed. No more chances, no more do-overs. The time for mercy is now, on earth. After death comes only justice." In simple words. So what happens 5 minutes after you die? Your soul leaves your body. You realize time is gone. You have entered eternity. You stand before Christ in judgment. Angels defend, demons accuse, and Mary intercedes. And finally, your eternal home is revealed. Heaven, purgatory, or hell. The Church says, live ready, because one day, when we least expect it, we will all face this moment. And the truth is simple. If you die in God's grace, you are safe forever. If you reject Him, that choice echoes into eternity. Outro, call to action. My friends, death is not the end. It is the doorway to eternity. That's why the Church urges us, go to confession, receive the sacraments, forgive your enemies, pray daily, and live in a state of grace. Because 5 minutes after death, you will already know your eternity. If this touched you, I invite you, like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe for more Catholic reflections. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. When you imagine standing before Christ, what gives you hope the most? Next time, we'll talk about the mystery of purgatory, what it is, what it isn't, and why it's actually one of God's greatest mercies. So stay tuned. And until then, may God bless you and keep you always in His grace.